This is section 6.3, and now that we know what matrices are, we're going to use them to solve systems of equation, particularly those that have three variables. So we should have learned how to do that in high school or another math perhaps, where we solved equations, perhaps three equations, three variables. Maybe we did, maybe we didn't, but it looks, you would have something like this, and it took a lot of work, and you had to eliminate one variable at a time and solve for that one. And we should remember that when we solved systems, it was either we could solve them by graphing, we could do substitution, we could use elimination, several different ways. But with this, we're going to turn this into a matrix. But look at the amount of work that is there if you're just doing, and that's not a long one. But anyway, you get the coefficients. Take all the coefficients. If there's not a number there, it's understood to be a 1 or a -1. So we have -1, 1, -1, 2, 6, etc. So we have our matrix. What size is this? It's 3 rows by 4 columns. All right? So we're going to go down here, and once we get it in as a 3 by 4, you will go to second matrix and over to math, and one of the options further down is RREF. You'll choose that, then you'll go back and get the name of A, hit enter. When you do, you get this block right here where it's a diagonal of 1s and 0s everywhere else, and then this last column is your solutions. So X is 1, Y is -1, Z is 2. So it's really a wonderful way to solve that system. So let's go practice that on our problems. Let's see. All right, so we're going to do this system, and I'm going to get this up here and do this with you for the first one. All right, second matrix, edit, and that we said was a 3 by 4. So we have 3 by 4. All right, now up here we've got 4, 7, 0, 6. So 4, 7, 0, 6. That's my first row. Second row would be 8, 0, -3, -7. So 8, 0, -3, -7. Put in the last row, which is 0, 6, -3, and 21. All right, and then you always want to go back and look. 4, 7, 0, 6, 8, 0, -3, -7, 0, 6, -3, 21. So once you've got it all in there, second, quit. Now we're going to go back into matrix, second matrix, go over to math, and down to RREF. That's row reduction echelon final, I believe, but you don't have to remember that. We just need to know we're going there. So we'll hit that. We'll go back in and get A. So we're telling the calculator, you do all that row operation stuff. Do that for me and get the final answer. So here we have that block with a diagonal of 1s, 0s everywhere else. X is -2. Y is 2, and Z is -3. Let's see if that is what we had. You'll choose A, and you'll put those numbers in there. And so you're going to do that for 1, for 2, for 3, 4, 5. Let's do 5, because you will get, when you do it on the calculator, you're going to get decimals probably. So let's just do number 5 together. So we've still got a 3 by 4. Second matrix, edit, enter 3 by 4, and we have a 0, -1, whoops, not a negative, clear that, I have a 0, enter, okay, where am I, -1, 3, and 1. All right, second row we have 1, 1, 2, 2. 1, 1, 2, 2. And third row we have a -1, a 0, a 5, a 2. Okay. All right, so I think we've got them all in. Second, quit. Always quit out of it. Second matrix, math, RREF is down the way. Okay, enter. Go back in and get A or whatever you put it in. And we've got X is 1/2, B is 1/2. And so for that one, you would know what they were. But if they were weird decimals, things you didn't recognize right off the bat, you could hit math and fraction right there, and it would put it in the fractions. So you can do that when you're doing those. All right. Number 6 and number 7 are word problems, and so part of the deal here is you do have to come up with your matrix. So let's do those together, at least getting the matrix. So a Broadway theater has 700 seats divided into orchestra, main, and balcony seating. Orchestra seats sell for 40, main sells for 30, and balcony sells for 20. If all the seats are sold, the gross revenue to the theater is $20,000. If all the main and balcony seats are sold, but only half the orchestra, the gross revenue is $17,200. How many are there of each kind? So the very first thing you want to do in this is write down, what am I going to let my variables equal? X is the orchestra, Y is the main, Z is the balcony. And so you've got to come up with 3 equations. And this has 700 seats all together. So you could say X plus Y plus Z is 700. That's one of the equations. Then if all the seats are sold, you get 20,000. And it tells you the price for each one. So you could have 40X plus 30Y plus 20Z equals 20,000. Now if all the main and the balcony are sold, so main and balcony, that was Y and Z, so they're still going to be 30 and 20, but only half of the orchestra, so that's going to be 20X. So there you go. You've got your 3 equations. We're going to put it in a matrix. 1, 1, 1, 700, and you just take the numbers. You do RREF, and you get the solution, and you will get 140, 320, 240. So the calculator part you should know by the time you start doing that, but the harder part is reading it and putting it into an equation system. Let's look at number 7. In triangle ABC, the measure of angle B is 24 degrees more than 3 times the measure of angle A. The measure of angle C is 51 degrees more than the measure of angle A. Find the measure of each one. Okay, so in a triangle, we know we have three angles, A, B, C, and two of them are in terms of angle A. So X is angle A, Y is angle B, Z is C. And Y is equal to, or angle B is 3 times A plus 24, or we're going to say 3X plus 24. Z is 51 more than A, so that'd be X plus 51. So let's see how we could write if we know that much. So we know there's 180 degrees in any triangle. So X plus Y plus Z is 180. We know that Y is equal to 3X plus 24 and Z is equal to X plus 51. But we do need to have the letters on one side and the numbers on the other. So We'll subtract the 3x over here. We'll subtract the x for this one. So now we have three equations. 180. And then for this one, we have -3, 1, 0, 24. For this one, we have -1, 0, 1, 51. You're going to do the same thing. Put that in as a 3 by 4, RREF, and you get your angles here, 21, 87, 72. And those will go in your boxes. So we're using that to help us do some application word problems. Otherwise, we would have to do all the algebra. We're letting the calculator do it for us. So I think that will get you going on 6-3.